And I wondered how difficult it was for you to jump into the full authentic self of you and allow yourself to say that I am an angel incarnated in this human body. How difficult was that?
Hmm. You know, for me, it wasn't. It was not difficult because I had already I had already made a pact with Source that I was going to do this, and if I was going to do it, I was going to do it. Like let's do this. Let's paint the town red. Let's go. And I feel that the worst had already happened to me. And what I mean is, I had what I thought was my dream job working as a religious teacher and then after that, leading a church as a minister. I thought I had reached it. And when I was working as a religious teacher, that's when I was really coming into my own as a psychic. And I was trying to blend both. Those two worlds, at least at that time, they did not marry well. Now, it seems like in the culture now, a lot of churches are bringing spiritualism in because people are asking for it. But, we're going 10 years ago ish. And at that time, the church in Des Moines that I worked for, it's a 5,000 member church. Their big donors did not want me to talk about angels in the world of psychics. And even though I go directly to Source, they didn't want it. So I was fired from that job for seeing angels, and they really didn't even want me to explain it. And then I went to seminary and became a minister and led a church. And it was a Unity Worldwide Church, which is a really beautiful church.
Yeah, I'm familiar with
Um,
Unity.
yes, love Unity. And I did that for a couple of years through COVID. Um, and that was a lovely experience. And I left that on very good terms. But even in that experience, it felt too dogmatic to me. Didn't feel free enough. And I thought, well, if I can get through those two experiences and still come out smiling, I can for sure acknowledge the call on my heart to tell everyone who I really am, and
Yeah.
first own in myself who I really am, because I've always known it. But when you know something about yourself like that, you tend to talk yourself out of it. Like, when that can't be true. No, come on,
Yeah,
right?
I was like, you're preaching to the choir here, sister. I tell you,
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way.
yeah. So really, for me, the worst had happened, and I really said to God, I said, I am not bargaining with you. I am not questioning you. I'm just saying, I work for you now. And if, as we do this, I am fully trusting you that all my needs will be met, I will be safe, and I'm also going to take care of you. It went both ways. So we've always had this really strong agreement that feels very tangible and intangible, that it's just there. And that's just the way it is,
Yeah.
and it always has been with us since the beginning of time.
How did your family react to this? To this kind of, I mean, I'm sure they probably had some inklings of what was going on, but as in general, how did your, friends and family, when you finally kind of said, you know what, this is who my authentic self is. I reawakened their memory of who I am, and I am this angel, and I'm incarnating into this body. So how did, I'm always so curious at the surroundings of other people of how they interact with you.
When I tell my family and my closest friends these things about me, the response I get is usually, "We're not too surprised about that. We always knew there was something different about you." And I'm sure, Michael, you've had that experience as well, that people are like, "Oh, huh, what does that mean? Tell me more." Huh, I'm going to have to sit with that for a while. But when they come around to it, it's usually, "Well, we always knew there was something different about you." And then honestly, there are some people that they don't believe it. And it's part of my agreement with God that I'm not here to convince them.
Yeah,
I,
I've did the same thing. I've stopped doing party tricks. Like I've just like, yeah, no, I'm not
yes,
happening. Yeah, don't ask me to prove
yes,
it because I'm just gonna walk away from you. Like,
right. That's where they are on their path, on their journey. And I don't, yeah, I bless them in that. And the hard part about that is when they're in your immediate family and then you have holidays or interactions with them and you have to go back to small talk. How's the weather? How are the kids? This food is good. See you next year. But
it's so
sometimes that's the most loving thing you can do.
yeah, that's so true. It just kind of be present for them and yeah, just kind of acknowledge who they are and just, hold space. And yeah, it's not that you're going to be sitting around the campfire going, okay, let's do a channeling session.
Yeah.
Let's connect and go deeper in that. Now, one question I might ask you though, are you the one that has to lead prayer during dinner time? Like everybody's going to ask you to show up and do prayer?
No, absolutely not. Because one time I did, and it was too weird for everyone.
I
So yeah. So around dinner time, it's always the Catholic. I grew up Catholic, so it's always the same Catholic prayer.
yeah.
And I really love that actually. It feels very comfortable to me. But the one time I did it, it was a very, I talked directly to God, and that's what I did. And I could feel everyone tense up, like, what's she gonna say? This is so weird. They never asked me again. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, she's been fired.
Yeah. Something I was just like most of my interview questions, I haven't usually do like a research stuff, but a lot of times it's just intuitively. And for some reason, I was getting this hit, like ask her about those situations that she has with her family.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about that because I was raised Catholic too. So it was really interesting to hear that perspective because they was like, okay, they either want you full in or they just don't want you like don't even be a part of it. And I just thought, wouldn't that be funny? You're sitting around the dinner table and you're about to say grace. And all of a sudden, you're doing your thing, right? And you're still usually starting out the Lord's Prayer or whatever, bless me, Father, whatever the prayer is that you're doing. And then all of a sudden you're directing your source and everybody's kind of staring at you. Is she here? Is she not here? Who's talking to her? What's going on?
Right.
And it could be, comfortable, but for most people like myself, now I just think it's normal. Like I have so many great friends that are, I would call the woo woo or out there a bit. And I really enjoy that. And, it's amazing to see, people's changes in their perception and stuff. And I think more and more I see like people like yourself finally, coming out and saying, this is who I am. And it really empowers. And this is what I really love. It really empowers others who may be hiding their gifts to come out. And that's,
Yes.
I get really excited about that. And it starts with people like you to allow themselves to say, hey, listen, this is my crazy path. It's like, I'm an angel, and it's a weird to kind of say that. I mean, myself, I'm not one, but I've been called an earth angel, which sometimes I
Mhm.
kind of go, I don't know about that. If they really knew me, maybe, might be a few issues there. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, what really separates like the definition of an earth angel versus like yourself, who is an incarnate in like an angel incarnated into the physical versus just an earth angel?
Oh, I love that question. An earth angel has lineage that goes all the way back to probably the around the book of Enoch, when um, some angels were sent to watch over the humans, and they fell in love with the humans and they mated with the humans. And there began a culture of hybrids. So they were half human, half angels. And the babies that were born were really large. They created giants. And this was a hard way of living because in this giant form, their joints hurt. They were seriously psychic. They were prophets. It was really hard for them to live. And in the Bible, it says that the angel parents were fallen angels. That's not true. God wouldn't cast anyone out. God rehomed these angels so that these earth, now these are our first earth angels, the hybrids, so that their parents would not be separate. So we had either their earth mama, it's their earth mamas, and their fathers were the angels. They would still be together so they could raise their infants and raise their children up. This is the first generation of earth angels. And the earth angels that we have today, that's their lineage. Those are their first mamas and papas that were here. And the earth angels that are here, they're beginning to remember who they are. So you very well could have some earth angel DNA in you. Absolutely. And a lot of the babies that are being born and the children that have been born in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years are earth angel coming back in to help with our ascension. Where I am different is I don't have that story in me. I wasn't part of that. I am pure angel. And the vehicle in which I came to be here on this earth is I came through my mom and dad, Dan and Diana, and my spirit is pure angel. The costume I'm wearing is human DNA.